What is going on, everyone? I'm back. That's right, I'm back from break, and it is time to start another epic week of streams here on DSPGaming. On today's episode of the Level 1 podcast, we celebrate the legacy of Resident Evil. As Resident Evil Requiem is coming out this Friday, zombies have invaded the channel. We have new animations for contributions that are all Resident Evil themed, so it's going to be pretty cool to see them all happen over the course of this week, all, of course, leading up to the very awesome new release and probably arguably the biggest new release of the year so far, Resident Evil 9. On today's show, we are going to explore the history of Phil Spencer as the head of Xbox. For those who don't know, it was announced on Friday live during this show that Phil Spencer is stepping down as the CEO of Xbox Gaming. This obviously means a lot, both for the future of Xbox and the future of gaming as a whole. But what really did Phil Spencer do in his 12 years as the head of Xbox? We'll explore this today, because interestingly enough, a lot of it had a heavy impact on the content that I put out. So, that's going to be fun. And in addition, of course, we'll get caught up, we'll chill, we'll have a good time. I'm excited, and I hope that you are too. Sit back and relax, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to start the final week of February off with a bang. It's time for the Level 1 podcast.
Attention! The games are about to begin. Oh, hail the king!
Alrighty, everybody. Well, hello. How y'all doing? I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to the show. It is time for the Level 1 podcast, starting off the final week of February. Today is Sunday, the 22nd of February, 2026. I'm DSP, and today is an epic day. We've got new animations in tandem with the release of Resident Evil 9 this coming Friday, which I'm very excited for, and I hope that you are too. We've got a week of great content, games, and fun. The Marathon Beta is coming out this week that we're going to try out. We're going to have more awesome continuing playthroughs, good vibes, and of course, zombies are here. If you contribute to the streams, you may notice there's going to be some interesting pop-ups this week that are going to look a little different than usual. We've got all biohazard related stuff. Well, not all. I added 5 new animations. The way it's going to work is this. For standard contributions such as, say, a few dollar super chat here or there, or a small amount of bits, or a gifted sub, etc., I've changed the animations. All right? And so you're going to see different things that are going to pop up when these things happen. So you're going to see some very frequently. Then I have one that's for a $10 contribution of any level, whether that's a $10 tip, a $10 super chat, or a $10 in kicks, which would be 1,000 kicks. So that's its own animation. And then I have also changed the $100 contribution animation. It is pretty cool, and it ties directly into Resident Evil 9. All right, so for small contributions, $10 contributions, and $100 contributions, you will see new animations starting today. Okay, what I'd like to do is do some more stuff like this for the streams more frequently, because I think that since I instituted the animations with sound effects, it's actually added to the streams in a good way. People seem to like it. I started doing this in the fall of last year, and here we are, nearly in spring, half a year later. People seem to like the themed stuff. You know, we had stuff for Halloween, for Christmas, for Thanksgiving. Then we had stuff for like things Valentine's Day and the Super Bowl. We've had things that were themed specifically to certain playthroughs and games. Everyone seems to like it, so I said, why not? Let's keep going. And I think I would like to do it more often. It adds an element of entertainment to the stream. You get a pop-up that's funny or interesting, and it gets your attention. And by the way, it helps me to know when contributions are coming in, because I hear those and I go, oh, and I look, and then I do a shout out, as opposed to previous where I just had to kind of catch it in a leaderboard that I had to see. Actually having the sound effect play helps me to get caught up with all those contributions. All right. Also, the zombie fog has come in. Man, those zombies are pretty flatulent. They are just releasing in my studio here. I'm going to have to do something about that. Maybe I'll have to get some better aeration, because whew, it is stinky in here. God dang. Okay. So, how y'all doing? How's everyone today? I hope you're all doing well. You're ready for an exciting new week of fun here on the channel to end February on a high note, especially with that Resident Evil 9 release on Friday. I'm very pumped for it. I hope you guys are too. So, who do we got? Good morning to everyone. We got Daniel, Apollo, Rose Diamonds, Hale Yee, Banana Jose, Scooter, Raygun, A Moody Cow, Six Hybrid, Red Tiger, Chris, Copium, Brian, and okay, that's everyone on the YouTube side. On the kick side, we got Spoons, Roddy Trotter, Eat Your Teeth, Username Taken, Bizarre Pronunciation, Shooting Star Rock. Who else? Don't Spy on Me. That's a good name. Stream Engager. I love Stream Engagers. Those are my favorite. Thank you for engaging with the stream. As we know, stream engagement is incredibly important to your success as a content creator on the internet. If only LTG knew that, perhaps he wouldn't have his streams constantly demonetized by Kick. Oh! It's not even a diss. It's just a fact. The guy doesn't know how to run a stream. Anyway, welcome back, everyone. Yesterday was my day off, and I'm back from that day off to have a 6-day streaming week with all of you. I know that you guys are excited. I am. We're going to have the continuation of popular playthroughs right now, such as Hollow Knight and RimWorld. Also some Dragon Quest, which isn't as popular, but is a chill time. There's going to be a little bit of Street Fighter in there, just not a lot this week. There's actually going to be some indies. We're going to have 2 different nights where we're going to explore indie games and see if we can find some new hidden gems for the rotation this year already. Playing indie games has worked tremendously, and I'm very excited to play more of them. Yeah, should be a good time. And then, of course, Thursday is the Marathon Beta, the new game from Bungie that's supposed to be an extraction shooter, i.e. Arc Raiders. So it's their version, and we'll see what that's like. It's a first-person game, not a third-person, so it could be a little different. And then, of course, on Friday, finally, it's time for new Resident Evil. It is Resident Evil 9 Requiem. I'll be playing it all day long on the day and night streams. I'm very excited. I hope that you guys are too. I can't wait to get it going, man. It's going to be, finally, it's going to have that feeling of like something new is going on in gaming. Because I'm not saying that gaming has been bad by any means. We've had a great year so far. The first 2 months of the year, we had a lot of fun. But let's be honest. Has anything of any real note, of any stature, or any lasting power come out from a AAA studio yet this year? No. There have been a few games, but they've all been like, nah, whatever. And most of the stuff that I've been doing is continuing on with playthroughs like stuff that's older, like Hollow Knight, right? Or RimWorld that's been out for 12 years. Those are my best playthroughs right now because nothing's going on in big-time gaming. Well, finally, Capcom will take a stab at it. And let's be honest, okay? Resident Evil's been great recently, right? It really is one of the major reasons why Capcom has seen such a popular resurgence in their company in the last 5 to 7 years. You know, hits like Resident Evil 7 and 8, awesome remakes like Resident Evil 2, 3, 4, okay, have done very well for the company. So they're excited for a new one, and they're banking that this one's going to be good to keep that momentum going. They've already announced that Resident Evil Code Veronica is the next remake, which is awesome. I'd love to play that game again. So, I am excited. I hope that you are too. And good stuff coming this week. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm just taking a quick look. Looks like we got a couple of shout-outs to do. We start off today with an incredibly generous contribution. Listen to this. $60 tip. $60. Let's go ahead. Now, this is not going to be a zombie-related animation. However, I think that we all enjoy seeing the briefcase of affluence on the stream. Very nice. So the $60 tipper says, I can't actually make it to your live stream today, but here's early support for Hollow Knight. So there you go. This is a Hollow Knight enjoyer who wanted to support Hollow Knight but can't be here live. Well, thank you so very much for $60. Let's get that on the leaderboard. That's a great start. Indeed. Thank you, thank you. All right. And I just received a $5 tip. And, oh, this is interesting. Well, first let's play the $5 tip animation. Okay. Thank you so much for that. And this person says, ready for this? Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green just entered #1 for the most pre-ordered game on the Nintendo eShop. Funny how people complain, yet they're still buying it. Well, first of all, let's be clear here. The stat that you just said sounds significant, but it's not. It's the #1 pre-ordered game on eShop. Well, that's Nintendo eShop. That's games exclusive to Switch 2. What other games are prominent that people are going to be pre-ordering right now? Currently, there's no Zelda, there's no Mario, there's no Donkey Kong, there's no Smash Brothers, there's no Mario Kart, there's no, you know what I'm saying? There's no actual big first-party game in the pipeline to pre-order. So when a stat like that gets reported, it sounds momentous. It's really not. It's not a big deal that this game would be the #1 pre-ordered game in the eShop for Nintendo. If you had said, it's the #1 pre-ordered game in the world across all platforms, then I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's not. It's only amongst Nintendo, okay? Now, I will play ball, though. Let's be honest, Nintendo fans are among some of the whiniest Stockholm Syndrome sufferers I've ever seen in my life. What does that mean? It means Nintendo fans will stomp and cry and whine and be so upset and be so pissy about every little thing Nintendo, but then they still buy it all anyway. If you remember when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, the Nintendo fans were so loud on the internet saying, I can't believe how low Nintendo has fallen. I can't believe that Game Freak is making this game. It looks like Umbrella has just brewed up another batch of the T-Virus, folks. Well, thank you, Cherry Slushy. We'll shout that out in a second, okay? Look out. Make sure that they hold that. Don't drop that. Okay. Anyway, so basically, Nintendo fans gave Game Freak, the developers of Pokemon, an insanely hard time. Even saying, oh my god, this is a console exclusive for the Switch and the game runs like shit. When you're in the open world, right, the frame rate dips, things pop in and out of existence so close to you, it's ridiculous. All kinds of stuff, right? Guess what? Pokemon Scarlet Violet was the best-selling Pokemon game of all time. At the time. By now, I'm sure it's probably been trumped. But it's like, so you sat there and you whined and you complained you hated the game and then you bought it. Right? And then you bought it again. And then, you know, that's how they are. So, everyone complained last week when it was announced that Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are coming out in 1 week. I think it's this Friday it actually comes out along with, like, Resident Evil. So everyone's, oh, I can't believe it. Nintendo already has a Nintendo Switch Online subscription service. That service gives you games every month. Well, that's really not every month. It's actually very little that they trickle out. It's not a lot or often that Nintendo adds new games to the catalog. It's actually like a big occasion when they do. But you pay a monthly fee to subscribe to this service to get access to these games digitally. And yes, there is a Game Boy library. There's a Game Boy Advance library. It's all in there. And then Nintendo announces, oh, guess what? Finally, we are releasing the original Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green for you, so you can play the original game of Pokemon, the first one, now digitally on the current Switch consoles. Wow, that's great news. So when's it hitting Nintendo Switch Online? Oh, it's not. You have to buy them separately. What? You have an online subscription service for this reason. You're already charging people for it. And now you're going to say, no, we're not going to include these games in it, buy them separately. So people, for rightfully so, were upset and said, what the heck is going on? Why would they do that? That's kind of a scumbag move. And now they're the #1 pre-ordered games on Nintendo Switch. So it's like, so you complain, but you're buying it anyway. So then why even complain? Why not just bend over and take it, right? Why don't you just accept that every time that Nintendo does something like this, you bend over, you let Mario take the plunger, and he just goes, oh, excuse me. I'll take a step back there. Anyway, so yeah, it is kind of hypocritical of Nintendo fans to act like that, right? What can I say? It is what it is. Oh. For the record, there's 3 of these, but they're randomly generated, so you don't know what you're going to see. Hopefully, we get the other 2, because I don't want to see the same one all day, but let's find out. But you got to be careful with the T-virus, okay? All right, so, yeah, thank you for the $5. That's a good observation. I hate to say it, but Nintendo fanboys tend to be some of the biggest hypocrites on the planet, okay? All right, and whoa, man, the zombie smell in here is getting bad. We haven't seen a zombie yet, but we got some T-virus in the house, right? Okay. So, hold on. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat there. Oh, wow, a bunch of contributions are coming in. Let's shout all these out. So, first of all, we have Cherry Slushy, who did a $2 super chat and says, didn't you buy a $200 Lego set? No, I did not. First of all, let me get you on the leaderboard, and then I will elaborate. $2? It was $2, yes. First off, what we're discussing is the Lego set that you actually see behind me. This is the Super Mario World Lego set starring Mario and Yoshi, as you can see. It actually has motion, which is really cool. And Yoshi's mouth opens and closes. Pretty cool, right? Probably one of the best Legos I've ever seen, to be honest with you. It was originally, I believe it was originally sold for $140. I got it for cheaper. I think I got it for like $110. It was on a Black Friday. Well, not Black Friday, but a Christmas sale, because I bought it in December off of Amazon. Now, this is a cool piece of content for me. We ended up doing 3 streams building this guy, and then he's been in my set all month, okay? Now, what you're saying is, because I spent money on something Nintendo, I'm part of the problem, I'm a hypocrite. No, because what you don't understand is that it's a completely different situation. Allow me to explain. The Nintendo fanboy situation is this. Acknowledge a shortcoming with Nintendo, complain about it very verbally online, but then spend the money on the thing anyway, and then Nintendo doesn't improve because you spent the money. If a Nintendo fanboy actually wants Nintendo to improve, what they should do is complain and then boycott, and then when it flops, then Nintendo has to change for the better. Instead, they consistently finance Nintendo's bad decisions. For example, during the era of the Wii U, which admittedly was a flopped console for Nintendo, Nintendo's sales were way down on both consoles, peripherals, and software. So what did Nintendo do? They sold tiny plastic figurines called amiibos, which literally had 0 value, and today they still have 0 value. They're just junk, okay? You can fill a landfill with them. They're just worthless. They don't do anything in any game of any significance. They don't have any collector's value because they mass manufacture them. They're just pieces of junk. So what did Nintendo fans do? Did they say, man, Nintendo really screwed up this generation. They're going to listen to us. Let's not buy until they do something better? No. Nintendo fans ran out and bought 5 million amiibos. So literally, Nintendo lined their pockets with money at an era when they couldn't sell games or consoles. They were rich off of amiibo profits because Nintendo fans were being so stupid. Do you see my point? If you don't make Nintendo learn from their mistakes, they'll never improve. And that's the point I'm making. If you're complaining that you don't think Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green should be $20 digital purchases and they should be in Nintendo Switch Online, then don't buy them. But Nintendo fans have bought them, pre-ordered them in droves, and it's the #1 pre-ordered thing. Now, why is that different from this? Because I never complained about Legos. I never complained about Nintendo Legos. I never said, man, I can't believe the Nintendo Legos are so expensive. What a ripoff. And then I went and bought the Nintendo Lego. That never happened. So it's not even close to being the same situation. You're wrong. Okay? Okay. Let's continue. We have Hail Ye 2025 with a $2 Australian super chat and says, Unk, are you copping the games or not? We will be playing games today. We will be playing Hollow Knight on this very stream, and it's going to be exciting because actually we now have even more abilities and stuff that we're doing, and I think we'll be able to backtrack and do areas that we couldn't finish previous. It's going to be very fun. Okay. Latenko did a €5 super chat, asking, do I have restless leg syndrome? I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with restless leg syndrome, but I do tend to sometimes move my legs. Okay? It's on and off. It's not constant. Like, there's sometimes I'll be sitting at the dinner table and my wife will be like, what do you, you're doing it again. I'm like, huh? And I'll look down and my leg is going like this. I'm like, oh. And then other times that doesn't happen at all. I'm not sure what triggers it. It might have something to do with my back, because to this day, I do still have some lingering tightness and problems with my back because I had a back injury when I was in my 20s. And even though for the most part, I don't have issue with it, it might actually have something to do with that. Since I bought these footrests, as long as I got my legs on the footrest, my legs are at ease and calm, and I have no urge to actually move them. But the thing is, sometimes I move around. If I put my feet flat on the floor, all of a sudden, sometimes I might start moving my foot again. I don't know. It's just something that's kind of on and off, but maybe it is formally restless leg syndrome. I don't know. I don't actually know. I never went to a doctor for it or anything like that. Okay? Okay. So thanks for the €5. In fact, that's the biggest super chat of the day. Yes, it is. So actually, let's do the conversion then. Euro to USD. What's the conversion right now? Let's find out. It is $1.18, so that's $5.90 for that. So thank you, Latenko. There we go. Thank you for the early support, guys. I appreciate it very much. Completely false. Someone tipped $1 and says, do you realize the majority of Nintendo buyers are parents buying for their kids, not so much outspoken internet personalities? Did you consider that? Completely false. Yes, there are tons of parents who buy the Switch or Switch 2 for their kids, and then every once in a while they'll buy a game. But when you're talking about pre-orders for Fire Red and Leaf Green, that's not parents pre-ordering digitally Pokemon 1 for their kids. Kids don't want to play Pokemon 1. Nostalgic fans do. But thanks for the $1. Okay. So two things, guys. Number one, you may have noticed, because I just started doing this a day or two ago. All right. In the leaderboard here, as you can see, I'm now including the date that I'm broadcasting, and I am including DSPGaming, the name of the channel. And the reason that I've started doing this is because as more and more people from the outside of the regulars start to watch my content, they actually have presented me with some interesting facts. Like, for example, last week, someone left a comment on my video, and basically they were like, so here's the deal. Basically, I didn't even know you still broadcast. Like, I know that there's detractors of yours, and they're putting out clips and stuff, but I thought that maybe they were going back and they were just, like, clip hunting your old content, because, honestly, I don't know. There's a good one. There you go. There's 3 of these animations for, like, super chats that I've added. That's the second one. Here we go. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, basically, this person left an interesting comment saying, I didn't even know you actively broadcast. I know that you have detractors who clip your stuff, but I don't see your real channel. Like, I literally don't see it, can't find it on YouTube. Didn't know where you broadcast from, so I thought they were just clipping your old stuff. But then I randomly stumbled upon it, and here you are, and now I'm leaving you a comment, and I want to let you know, this is kind of a problem, that, like, people don't know where you are, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, where you're actually streaming from, and so maybe you should do something about that, okay? And I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's a good point. So, there we go. So, I was thinking about how I could do that. And I was like, well, if I put the channel and the date in the leaderboard that's crawling, at the very least, if someone's watching someone who clipped, they could say, well, when's that from? Where's that from? Oh, look, February 22nd, DSPGaming did that. So now someone could search on YouTube for DSPGaming February 22nd and probably bring up the content that I uploaded that day. Okay? That's why I'm doing that. Now, I don't know if that's going to, happen or not, or help or not, but it's just something to do. It's zero effort. Why not do it, right? So that's why that's there. Now, here's another thing, okay? Someone last week suggested, listen to this, that I leave these streams as archives. That instead of doing what I do now, which is broadcasting live, but then once the stream goes offline, making it a private stream, and then uploading separate segments, which is how I do it. Right now, I'm actually recording locally to my hard drive while I'm also broadcasting on YouTube and Kick. I'm recording in segments. So the first segment is the podcast. The second segment will be a 1 hour of Hollow Knight. The third segment will be a second hour of Hollow Knight, and I'll upload those as separate uploads to my channel once this stream goes offline, but this stream gets privated. And you might say, why do you do that? Most content creators don't do that. They just leave the stream public. Because I don't like messy content, and the truth is, does anyone want to actually watch the music playing at the beginning, the podcast, the break, and then 2 gameplay segments? Or do you want to actually see the videos sorted properly on YouTube? Like, here's the podcast, check it out. It's in its own level 1 podcast playlist. You can watch them in order. Here's the playthrough of Hollow Knight. Here's today's 2 parts. They're in order in a playlist. That's what people want. They want organization. They want thumbnails that are specific to what goes on in that video and titles that are appropriate to what it is. Now, this is the archive of my stream for today, which includes pre-stream as well as the level 1 podcast talking about Phil Spencer, plus Zombies Invade DSPGaming, and then we play Hollow Knight for 2 hours. And here's what happens in Hollow Knight as well. No one wants that. But sadly, that's what a lot of people do. They just kind of lazily stream and say, oh, here's the stream archive for today. And that's all they do. They don't go the extra mile. I go that extra mile. I do the extra work and effort so that it makes it accessible and easy for you to jump in and watch whatever it is you want, and to avoid the filler that you don't. Like, maybe you don't care about the podcast today, but you care about Hollow Knight, so just watch the individual videos, right? So, here's the deal. If you guys find value, all right, in the archive stream just being raw and live, I can do that too. I hide it because I want people to gravitate towards the on-demand videos. Okay, I do. And for the truth, here's so you know, it doesn't hurt my channel to hide the streams, because a lot of people are under the impression I delete the streams. No, I don't. All I do is I take the streams, I make them private. I keep the views, I keep the engagement, I keep all the revenue for that stream, and it all counts as a positive against the channel. Just that you can't see that stream anymore. You got to watch the new individual videos as they upload. Does that make sense? So I don't lose. A lot of people are just under the impression I delete the streams outright. No, why would I do that? That would be shooting myself in the foot. That would be deleting all of the work I just did, and that would actually hurt the channel, because you might not realize this, but when you lose a whole bunch of views on a YouTube channel, YouTube holds it against you. They feel like if your channel went down in views, that there's something significant, negative, or toxic that happened, and then they'll hurt you in the algorithm. I know, because it happened to me. In 2015, I got hit with a ton of false copyright strikes, and I was instructed by YouTube themselves to delete 3 years of pre-streams, so I did. Okay? Okay. So, yeah, basically, it sucks that, if you lose views on the channel, it hurts your channel. 100% it does. Okay? Cool. All right. So anyway, if you guys wanted me to leave these as live archives, I can. I think there would be one positive, and I think the one positive, and don't quote me on this because I could be wrong, is that wouldn't that mean that the stream chats would be intact? Like, if you watch the stream archive, I believe the stream chats are there. So, like, you'd be able to see everything that's being said in stream chat right now. It would be running alongside the video, correct? If you're watching it on YouTube? I think so. Now, on Kick, this already happens. On Kick, I don't break out videos. You can't. And on Kick, these streams stay archived for about a week, and then they fall off and disappear. It's just an automated thing that happens on Kick. And the thing is, I need to leave those on to stay in the Kick Partner Program. So technically, you can find... Technically, you can find archives of all my work on my Kick channel, which is DSP Gaming Real. Like, all those archives are there, okay? But I guess it's the YouTube side that people have been saying, you know, this is what you should do. Listen, I'm open to whatever. If you guys, as of now, today, if you want me to leave this stream, you know, as a archive, I will. But maybe what I should do is when it's done, just say archive in the title. Maybe I should do that. It's up to you guys. Again, here's the thing, though. I'm not going to stop locally recording and breaking out the parts. I'm still going to record the podcast just as the podcast and upload it as such. I'm still going to record the gameplay segments and upload them like that and put them in a playlist. All right? So we could do that. I would like your feedback. And it really, this does not affect anyone on the Kick side. It only affects people on the YouTube side. All right? So here's what we'll do. Let's do a quick poll on the YouTube side. There is one... I'm going to do a poll. Let's see what people say. There is one downside to doing this. Okay, here's the downside. There's going to be 2 extra videos a day on the channel, and they're going to be super long videos. So you're going to see stream archive on the channel, and it's going to be a little annoying because you're going to see, oh, look, here's a stream archive. But then also, here's the videos that got broken out individually. So it's going to be like double dipping. It's the same content twice. And I want people to understand that because a lot of people in the past have unsubscribed from this channel saying there's too many videos. Well, now there's going to be more videos, okay? SD Charger says that the live streams and the videos get separated in your inbox. Is that true? I don't think so. That's only when they're live. And I know that for a fact because there's a few people who I'm subscribed to who, when they're live, they show up as live, but then after that, it shows up as an on-demand video, and it looks just like any other normal video. Because it'll be weird, because the video will go live, and immediately it'll say, oh, this video has thousands of views. I'm like, how is that possible? It just went live like 5 minutes ago, and I look, and it's a stream archive. Yeah, it does both. Rabbit Doom says, under the live tab, it should be archived there. It does both. So what happens is, in the live tab, it'll show up, and it shows up as an on-demand video after the fact, too. It basically shows up in 2 places at once. I've definitely seen that. So, and again, that's a freaking YouTube side thing, right? Okay. So, let me know what you think. All right, now here's the thing. Chippewa says, would you consider going back and making all your other streams available? I would love to see RimWorld with the chat. That would be a horrendously bad idea. Because if I did that, all those videos would show up in everyone's subscriber feed instantly. I did that once before because there was a problem where videos were like private. I had to make them public again. And the entire feed would be live stream archives hitting you all at once. It would everyone would unsub. So I definitely can't do that, sadly. Maybe I could slowly go back and every once in a while make an old archive stream, a live video, but I can't do it all at once. That would actually destroy my channel. Okay? No, I don't pay attention to Mexico. I have no idea what's going on in Mexico. Okay, so we have some shout-outs to do. We're going to do that right now. So we have, let's see here. Eric. Eric did a PLN 30 super chat. I have absolutely no idea what currency that is. Let's find out. PLN? Polish. Interesting. Wait, Poland is not in the European Union? I guess not. That's confusing. I thought they were. But I guess not if it's the Polish zloty. Okay. All right, so that is the equivalent of $8.38. Thank you for that. That's actually our top super chat of the day. It is? Then how? If they're in the European Union, how is he able to send me something in a Polish currency? It doesn't, they wouldn't be using it. Now I'm really confused. I don't know how that works. Oh, really? Some countries still use their national currencies, even if in the European Union. I didn't even know that. I thought they had to. So I don't know anything about that. I'm an ignorant American. I don't know how it works over there. I admit, I'm not a world scholar, so, call me a dummy. I am in that regard. I don't know shit. Okay, well, anyway, thank you, Eric, for the super chat. He says, I was hate watching you for years. Now I realize you're a normal guy and you're trying to make it online in a fucked world. You look slimmer and healthier. Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate you saying that. I really do. That's pretty much I would say an astute observation. I'm just trying to get by, and I'm very different than I used to be, where, back in the day, I tried to be offensive and I tried to say things to get a rise, and I don't do that shit anymore. I evolved, I learned, and I'm just trying to be a chill streamer now. And I think that a lot of people see that, and that's why I'm doing so well. But at the same time, there's people who just won't let go of the old legacy of hating on DSP because they get, something good out of it for themselves. So it's never going to end, but I'm happy to know that there's more and more people who are coming by and seeing the real me and enjoying the content and supporting it. So thank you for that. Okay. I see. Yeah. Stuart and others are saying that's why the UK still used the pound even when they were in the European Union. They never went to the euro either. Okay. Got it. Oh, here we go. The zombies have been unleashed. There you go. Thank you for that. And so now you've seen all three of the randomized animations that'll happen for, contributions. There's also a special one for a $10 contribution, and then there's a special one for a $100 contribution. Okay? Good stuff. What's with the fart fumes? The zombies won't stop releasing the gas. See, I forgot. When you die, you relieve yourself. Are you aware of this? When you die, your bowels release, and therefore when the zombies have just been zombified for this week, and now they've all released at once, and now it's just a disgusting mess in my office. It's just really nasty. Okay, so Hail Ye 2025 did another $2 Australian super chat and says, I meant leaf green, nearly dunce maxing there. I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you saying, oh, you're asking me if I'm going to get leaf green? No, I've already answered this right now. No, I am not. I may get it in the future when we feel like we want to play another Pokemon game. But right now, number one, I just finished playing Pokemon Legends ZA for 60 hours. And we have another kind of unique hybrid Pokemon game coming out next month. That's called Pokemon Pokopia, which is going to be a combination of Pokemon with Animal Crossing. And I want to give that a try. So knowing that, there's no way that I'm going to be playing a classic Pokemon game right now. But I am happy that it will be available because we've been talking about this recently. People actually were asking me on stream, Phil, would you play classic Pokemon? And I was like, I wouldn't be against it, but how on earth could you do that? Because Nintendo doesn't have it, right? So I would have to emulate it, and everyone knows emulation, ooh, that's a bad move. Trying to emulate classic Nintendo games. Nintendo is already so pissy just about their IPs and emulation. I'd be the one they come after. If I tried to emulate Pokemon, they'd probably hit my channel with copyright strikes and shit, so I wouldn't want to do that. So now at least the avenue is available to play the classics, right? But we're just not doing them now at all. Maybe somewhere down the line. Okay, Raymond with a $20 super chat. That is by far the biggest super chat of the day. So let's take a quick look here and add them to the leaderboard. So first of all, thank you for the $20. Now, this person says, let me read this. I'm a streamer and I make $100 to $2 a night in super chats. Okay, so let's confirm that. Before I even read any further, okay? Let me find this person. That's not what I wanted to do. I clicked the wrong thing. Okay. So let's take a look. 27,000 subscribers. He's got a Ko-fi. He's got a second channel. He's got a Rumble. He's got a Patreon. He's got a lot. He's got a PayPal. He's got a Venmo. He's got a Cash App. This guy really wants you to pay him. Damn, you've got a lot of ways to contribute. It says your channel joined on January 5th, 2024. So you've been around for a couple of years. Well, I congratulate you on having a 27,000 subscriber base with only 2 years put in. That's actually to be respected. Wow, 1,000 videos in that time. That's also to be respected. You got a good amount of members from what I can see. So it looks pretty legit. Yeah. All right, fair enough. This looks pretty legit. This guy is not a faker. All right, so let's see what he had to say with the $20 super chat. Sorry, I had to investigate because I get a lot of people who say a lot of shit around here who are full of crap, and this guy actually looks like he's legit and not a poser. So he says, you can't private your streams after they happen. YouTube will derank your channel and remove watch hours. It hurts your channel. It doesn't remove watch hours from my channel. I was going to tell you right now, it doesn't remove watch hours from my channel. I don't know if it does it to yours. I've been doing it like this since day one. I don't lose watch hours on my channel. Okay? Now, maybe YouTube has changed something over the years. Okay? But I can tell you, I've done it since day one and it has never hurt my channel once. Okay? I keep my watch hours. I keep my views. I keep any revenue I made during the streams. I keep the likes. I keep it all. It all stays on there. So I don't know if you're misinformed. Maybe it affects other channels differently. I have no clue. I'm just telling you from my firsthand experience. I look at my analytics. I don't lose watch hours when I private a stream. Okay? If you unlist or private, you're good. If you delete, you lose the watch hours. Because here's what happened. I was telling this story earlier. I didn't finish. So in 2015, someone hit me with a ton of false copyright strikes. Okay? I talked to YouTube about it. And YouTube at the time literally told me, the only thing we can do to stop more false copyright strikes from hitting the pipeline is for you to delete the videos that you suspect the false strikes are coming in against. And I said, well, it's going to be all of my pre-streams where I was using art that was fan submitted, because that's what it was. It was a trick where someone had given me fan art and said, here you go, use it. And then they were submitting it to YouTube claiming, oh, that's my art and Phil stole it and this is a copyright violation. So they were hitting about 2 years of pre-streams with copyright strikes. And they were all going through. So YouTube said, you can't private them. You can't unlist them. You have to delete them. It's the only way to stop your channel from being shut down right now with these copyright strikes. So I deleted 2 years of pre-streams. It was something like 5 million plus views. Okay? My channel, because I deleted the videos, immediately saw a negative impact on everything. All of my metrics plummeted, including watch time, including overall channel views, including like everything. Okay? And basically, my channel was kicked out of the algorithm. Overnight, I couldn't be found. What used to happen was every fall, I would always play the hot new releases that come out in video games between like September to December. And I would get a ginormous spike of attention because people would always search for the new game. And I was at the top of the pack in the YouTube search algorithm because I'd been around for so long. And I was, I was in there. I was in that golden group of people who would get the views for the new games. All of a sudden, after I deleted all those pre-streams, I was no longer in the search. So all those nice views I used to get at the end of the year, it was like a big pay bonus for me, gone. All because of false copyright strikes against my channel and because YouTube advised me to delete all those videos, okay? But since I started privating and or, archiving like that, it's fine, okay? Because I want you to think about it. If you have a video and it does really well, but then you private it for whatever reason, what if, let's say you made a video, like let's say today I made a video about, I don't know, Phil Spencer. And then all of a sudden something comes to light and what I was saying in the video actually isn't true. Then like, oh man, it disproves what I said. So maybe I want to take the video down because I don't want to look like a disingenuous jackass. So I private the video. That doesn't hurt my channel. Privating videos is like a common thing to do. A lot of people private videos for various different reasons. It doesn't kill your channel, but deleting does. Like no exaggeration, deleting does. Deleting the channel or deleting from the channel, that will hurt you. So Raymond, I congratulate you on the work you've done. It looks like you're a hard worker. You've done well for yourself in the 2 years that you've been making, these videos. Good for you. And continue on with your path. You're doing good there. I'm actually, that looks really good. I don't know what kind of content you make. I just was looking at the videos. I literally didn't even read the title of the video. And thanks for the $20. But in regards to simply privating a video, I do think you're misinformed. I think it's deleting, not privating. And that's from someone who's been doing this for 18 years. And this channel has been around for around 16. Okay? Okay. Cool. Hail Ye, or Yay, excuse me, Hail Yay with another $2 Australian super chat says it was better than you were offense IMO. It was better when you were offense IMO. I think he's trying to say it was better when I was an offensive creator. I disagree. And that's all I'm going to say. I disagree. I don't want to be an offensive creator. I don't want to be someone who is always trying to cause problems, shit talk, insult to get over on someone. You know what I'm saying? I want to make content that's not offensive, but is instead entertaining for valid reasons. Okay. So someone tipped $1 and says, Friday is really exciting. We have Pokemon Day for a bunch of news in the morning. What news is coming Friday morning? Oh, they're doing a Direct. That's what you're talking about. They're doing a Nintendo Direct Friday morning. You're correct. He says, and then to Resident Evil. I hope that you'll cover some of it in the morning show. Also, I recommend keeping your archives up. If you look at your streams you keep up, they have thousands of views. You're right. But at the same time, I keep those views. Again, I want to make this clear. Okay? I keep those views. All right? There you go. I don't know why people are under the misconception that I lose the stream views because I private the streams. I don't. Like right now, I'll tell you. Here's the deal. It's like you guys are thinking that if I keep my streams public rather than privated, that I'm going to get a giant increase in viewership on my channel. I'm not. I'm telling you right now, I'm not. All right? Like, it's going to stay exactly the same because I'm keeping it now anyway. But I don't mind keeping the streams public, but I want you to understand there will be more videos in the feed then. You're going to have stream archives, and then you're going to have the parts that I also individually upload, okay? Okay. Do I ever turn comments off on YouTube videos? No, my comments are on. My comments are on, but have the auto YouTube moderation, because if I don't have that, every comment will be something so offensive that it's not worth reading the comments, and I know because that's how it was. YouTube didn't used to have the auto moderation, and all of my comments became racist, sexist, insulting, doxing, disgusting comments. So it got so bad, my actual positive viewership asked me to turn them off because they couldn't even go to a video without seeing a bunch of filth underneath it. So I did for like 2-3 years, I had no comments. And then YouTube instituted the auto comment moderation, and I turned it back on with the auto moderation. So a lot of comments get caught, and then I have to manually review them. For the most part, I try any comment that gets through, I leave up. I usually, if a comment automatically gets published, I usually just leave it up. It's very rare where I would be told, oh, Phil, there's a really bad comment you got to look at, and then I would go look at it and I would moderate it. But I have a queue of stuff that's auto held by YouTube, and I review the queue, and I approve some and I deny some. The ones that I deny are usually detractor comments like, you know, you suck and detractor meme nonsense and bullshit. The villain says, make the streams memberships, huh? Rose Diamond says, upload the archives and podcasts same day. Save up locally recorded gameplay videos over several streams and upload longer video on demand. Oh, my VODs are already an hour, and people already complain it's too long. Seriously, like, the thing is, no one does it like me. To be honest, when I was younger and I did this in one way, I did it different than everyone else. And now today, I still do it different than everyone else. It's weird, like, and everyone always says, you're doing it wrong. So then I'll change it to what they want, and then they'll say, you're still doing it wrong. Like, when I started, okay, I used to actually do 15-minute videos because YouTube wouldn't allow long videos. So for the longest time, I was doing 15 minutes, and then people said, they're too short, make it longer. So then I went to half an hour. And people said, it's still too short, make it longer. So then I started making them an hour. Now people are like, oh, your videos are too long. Like, what? Yeah, we like small digestible clips now. We don't want hour-long videos. Why are you uploading hour-long videos? Because you complained. Years ago, you told me to change the format, so I did, and now it's wrong again? Like, basically, no matter what I do, quite frankly, it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? No matter what I do, it's wrong. Therefore, I don't really care anymore. I listen to feedback. I'll change and adjust if I can. Like, for example, putting the date, putting DSPGaming in this leaderboard, I don't care. It's fine. It doesn't really add anything to me, but if it helps you guys, I'll do it. No big deal, right? If you want me to leave the stream archives up, I will. Not a big deal. Let's leave it up. I'm okay with that too. You know, but then the counterproductive thing is you're going to have people who will complain, why do you have double content? Why do you have so many videos in a day? And I'm like, well, I can't please everyone. And that's the thing. You cannot please everyone all the time. You can only please certain people at certain times. There's always going to be people who wanted something differently and they're not pleased, right? All right. So by the way, the poll is overwhelmingly for keeping the streams archived and public rather than making them private. And that's 212 votes out of 271 viewers. It's actually legit feedback. Because normally if I do a poll, you can tell if it's fake because I'll have like 500 votes but only 200 viewers. But actually, this looks legit. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So, let's do it then. As of today, I won't private the streams. When the stream goes offline, it just goes offline and you guys can watch it back if you want. But the thing is, how do you want me to title it? Because as you can see right now, the stream is titled Chill Return Podcast, then DSP continues with Hollow Knight, February 22nd, 2026. Is that okay? Is that just what you want? Just leave it like that? And just leave it as an archive video. It'll automatically show up in my live archives tab. Is that how you want it? And then I'll just leave them like that. And you can watch the entire, everything together if you want. Or you can watch the individual videos later in the playlist if you want. It's up to you. Okay? That's fine. That's okay. The date would be the tell, and I always have the date. I literally always have the date in there. Cool. Sounds good to me. All right. Well, here's the thing. Originally, my plan for the podcast today is I wanted to talk about Phil Spencer and his tenure at Microsoft, but we could save that for the next podcast because it seems like right now we've already gone an hour, and probably what I wanted to do is do some Q&A and chill with you guys before we played Hollow Knight, and I want time to do that, and if I talk about Phil Spencer, that's the rest of the show. And let's face it, the Phil Spencer story isn't going anywhere. In fact, maybe if we save it a couple days, it'll actually be more interesting because the new head of Xbox will be in charge then. She starts tomorrow, and a lot of people are really, really afraid that she's going to do worse than Spencer because she usually she's had nothing to do with gaming before. Like, no exaggeration. She has no history in gaming whatsoever. She came out of Meta. She worked with AI. She has nothing to do with gaming. And they made her the head of gaming out of nowhere. So everyone's kind of nervous that it ain't going to go so well. I like to feel positive about it, but I don't know. The thing is, you just had Phil Spencer in charge for 12 years, and things didn't go so well, and he was a gamer. I say gamer like this because gamer is such a loose term now. See, to me, when you say who's a gamer, to me, a gamer is someone who, like, their major hobby is gaming, and the vast majority of time that they spend doing things to relax is probably gaming, or, like, maybe they're a competitive gamer. Maybe they like to go play Street Fighter, or they like to go play Call of Duty, or they like, you know what I'm saying? And maybe they even are interested in the competitive side of things, or they're a hobbyist and they literally have a gaming collection and they're into games heavily. To me, a gamer is now, every once in a while I pick up a controller and I play a game, or all I do is play Fortnite. I don't consider that, you're not a gamer. You're into a trend, but you're not really a gamer. Do you see the difference? A trend hopper or a trend jumper on versus being someone who's actually into it. Like, there's a difference between saying, I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings. So what does that mean? Well, I read the books, I saw the movies, I know the lore, I follow the actors, I follow, Peter Jackson, I know about Tolkien. Okay. Or are you saying, I love Lord of the Rings, I saw the original trilogy and that's it. So you like the movies, but you're not really a fan of Lord of the Rings, right? That's how I see it. And so when you say, Phil Spencer was a gamer who ran Microsoft, I say, no, he wasn't. He was a guy who played video games here and there casually. He liked one or two franchises. And because of that, they thought, he'll be the gamer bro that everyone will buy into and believe as a believable figure to head this company. And he didn't know shit. He didn't know shit about anything. He knew shit about shit. He's a moron. There you go. Marky says, well, I call them players. Okay, how about that? The difference between a player and a gamer. A player is someone who casually plays, knows a little bit about games, jumps in every once in a while, will play the popular game, and then that's it. A gamer is actually into games, right? A hobbyist, someone who actually likes it, probably has multiple consoles or a PC, has played different generations of games, is a fan of certain franchises, knows about what's going on in the industry. That's a gamer. Not, I play Diablo once every a while. That's fucking Phil Spencer, Okay. So let's do that. Let's save the Phil Spencer history lesson for another stream. I have it literally on the screen. I was ready to go. Let's save it because we're already an hour into the podcast. And I think we'll go on later on in the week, and we'll do that maybe on the next podcast. We'll do the Phil Spencer tribute show, and we'll talk about his... Because the truth is, he did some interesting stuff for gaming. I want you to understand. He basically made it that games now can be accessible if you're not rich. And what I mean by that is Game Pass itself is a system where for, a set amount of money a month, you're getting access to a ridiculous amount of games, whether you're on PC or you're on Xbox. And I have found insane, tremendous value being an Xbox Game Pass subscriber. Okay? And I think a lot of people are of the same mentality. But there's a lot of bad things he's done as well. Through studio acquisitions, essentially kind of turning these studios from big, high-class developers into making dog water garbage. It's bad that you got big boys like Bethesda or Blizzard, and they're pumping out crap now since Microsoft bought them, So anyway, there's a lot to talk about. There's good and bad to talk about when it comes to Phil Spencer. I want time to do that. If I rush it now, we won't have time. So let's save it for another podcast, okay? Okay. Hail Yay did another $2 Australian. Well, I should say super chat, because if I say he did a $2 Australian, it sounds like he did something else, if you know what I'm saying. He says Ganges Water Indian Box. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Thanks for the buck. I have no idea what that means. It's like a bunch of gibberish. It's like the AI malfunction. They just sent a bunch of random words my way. I don't know what the fuck that means. Anyway. Okay. All right, so here's what we will do. First of all, thank you for the early support. Tremendous early support today. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go ahead and let us do some Q&A because we have time. We have about a half an hour to hang out and do some Q&A to start the week. You've seen 3 of the randomized animations. There's 2 more you haven't seen. One is for a $10 contribution. One is for a $100 contribution. So if we happen to get contributions to that level today, you will see those as well. And good stuff all around. Thank you for a great start to the week. Let's see what people want to talk about today. Do I like Resident Evil 5? Asked Pip-Boy Playa. I think it was a fun game when it came out. I think it dated poorly, meaning I played it again like a second or third time on the channel. I didn't like it as much. I didn't think it was as enjoyable the second or third time around. Got kind of repetitive. I remember like the second half gets pretty like grindy, like boring. But I do think that it's still a fun game. It was a good game for the time. What's up, No Sleep Real Vibes? The family's good. Thanks for asking. What's with the 420 smoke effect? Oh, it's not 420 smoke. The zombies. The zombies have invaded DSPGaming and all released their bowels at the same time. So this is the funk that has come in and I can't breathe. It's disgusting. Is being a member of my channel considered sufficient support? There's no such thing as sufficient support. You could choose to actively support or not support my content as you see fit. I appreciate everyone who does actively support the content because that's why I can do this for a living. That's why I can afford everything that I purchase for my content all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like this year has been a great year, the first 2 months, because I've literally been able to buy multiple games a week, indie games and others, and, either play them or drop them appropriately and move on to other stuff because of the support that I get. But it's your place to judge what's sufficient, not me. That simple. I'll tell you this. I appreciate every single piece of support that I get. As small, as large, as frequent, as infrequent, whatever it is. If you support this channel in some way, thank you. Remember, you can support by liking the stream right now and adding engagement. By becoming a subscriber, by becoming a member. A super chat, some kicks, a tip. All of it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay? It looks like I'm hotboxing The Office. There you go. Well, if I'm hotboxing, why haven't we seen the 420 animation today? That's the question. Right? Where is it? Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, crap, I misclicked. Hold on. Okay, that's just junk. Cool. Let's see here. No, I don't know what on earth you're talking about, No Sleep Real Vibes. High or low support can sometimes affect playthroughs. Here's what affects the content that I put on the stream. Attendance, engagement, and support. You're looking for the perfect combination of all three. You want good amount of viewers, people who are there actually interacting with the content, and you want people supporting the content. Now, sometimes you can get away with one or two. Like, for example, with the Dragon Quest playthrough, okay? We've got lower attendance, we've got good engagement, and we got okay support, but it's balancing out, and I'm balancing it with other things, okay? Sometimes you have really high attendance, but no one actually is being positive in the chat. They're just there to troll you, and the support sucks, so why are you doing that? And that's why I'll say, well, that's not worth it. Let's do something that's more positive, right? Sometimes you'll have very low attendance, but the people that are there are highly engaged and support the content, in which case you should still continue. So there are variations and balances between it that you must find, right? But it's not just about one of the three. It's about a combination of the three in the right balance. King Michael, it's good to see you. Latenko asked, did I think about going back to live service games during special events? Hitman 3 has a Mila Jovovich next week. Oh, live service games, like, very rarely would I play them for a lengthy amount of time unless they really catch my interest and the gameplay loop is very entertaining to me, but also keeps people engaged. Like, I remember when Call of Duty first had Black Ops 4 Blackout, which was the very first time they ever did Battle Royale. That actually got us hooked for many months, and it was fun because the streams were interactive and we would talk while I was playing, and it ended up being a fun live service thing that we did for a while. You know, we did the seasonal updates and content and stuff like that. But for the most part, I don't really think my audience buys into how the live service formula works. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one is excited to see me try the new season and drop money on the new skins or see if I can earn the new season pass reward. No one really cares. Maybe eventually they would. Like, I was hoping with Call of Duty, because I upgraded my setup and now I was able to play well, that people would care. No one cared. So maybe if we get a good game, like if there's a good Call of Duty or something, that would happen. But I don't think people really buy into the live service stuff around here, you know? Okay. What's up, King Michael? Good to see you here today. Gareth, the next new thing will be the Marathon Beta on Thursday, and then the next new thing after that is Resident Evil Requiem starting on Friday. Oh, I never heard about that at all, No Sleep Real Lives. Didn't even know that existed. Okay. Let's see. Virtual Boy defeats DSP. Says, I'll gently say, let's see what he has to gently say. If he has to say gently, then obviously it's going to be negative. You can turn it to one of your streams, and within 30 seconds, you can tell how good or bad support is. When support is low, you'll get pissed. Well, pissed versus, okay, let's put it this way, okay? If immediately when I start a stream, people are like, we like what you're doing, we like this, and we're supporting it up front, you understand that that basically lets me know immediately that there is a desire to see that continue. I know that there's people here along for the ride. This is not a wait and see. This is not a let's test the waters. This is a sure thing that's working. So, of course, that's going to put me in a better mood saying I'm doing content that's working and everyone likes it and this is exciting. Versus, okay, well, I'm a little apprehensive. I don't know if this is going to work or not, so let's test it and let's see what happens, right? It also depends on the game. Like, for example, Deadlock, right? Deadlock is a game that I don't know much about and I liked a lot, and I'm upset that it didn't do well because I wanted to keep playing it. But now I can't. If I play it again, it's probably going to fail worse than it did the first stream. Or what about Call of Duty Black Ops 7? Now, admittedly, Black Ops 7 is not a game that I think I'm in love with, but I actually enjoy Call of Duty. When I have a day where I'm doing well and I'm kicking everyone's butt and we got a good kill-death ratio and the kill streaks are flowing, I have a great time with it and I want to keep playing. And I can't because no one will support it. That's what pisses me off. If I'm having a good time and I'm liking what I'm doing and no one is supporting it, because basically that means I can't enjoy what I want to play on a stream. Does that make sense? That's what I'm angry about. I'm not angry because, oh, people won't give me money. I'm angry because I'm having a good time and enjoying myself, and I'm knowing this is probably the last time I can do this because this is my job. You can't go to work and do things that no one wants you to do. You won't get paid for it. And that's pretty much what my job is to entertain and to give you content that you will support, right? So, yeah, that does anger me. If I'm doing something that I'm enjoying and no one likes it and therefore they won't support it, it makes me very disappointed and agitated because I really want to keep doing it. There are some cases where I'll make exceptions, like, for example, Dragon Quest. That's a game that I love. I want to keep going. Even if it doesn't do well, I want to keep it in the rotation. So, fingers crossed, things keep going as well as they have, and I can. But there's been other games, like I just named too, that upsets me when that happens. But naturally, obviously, if I join a stream and immediately people are forthcoming with support and I'm like, this is great. Now, there's no real feeling of pressure of, is this a stream that works or not? Is this a game that works or not? We can just relax and I can have a good time with it. That's a good feeling. And you know what? I'll be honest. There's sometimes people support stuff I don't like. And I say, that's enough, right? Truthfully, that's happened a few times where last year, there were things that I didn't like, like Mario Kart, Truck Sim, where I got bored. I don't want to play it anymore. There's nothing to do there, but even though people are supporting it, I don't really care. I want to move on to stuff that I feel is meaningful to me and my audience. When will we bust out the racing wheel again? I don't know. Depends. I would say guaranteed would be Forza Horizon 5, or is it 6? Whatever the next one is, I think it's 6. That's the guaranteed next time. There just hasn't really been anything that's come out. Like, there's that other truck game coming out, but has no release date. There's been no reason to really bust the wheel out. Gareth says, would you be open to playing Dino Crisis 2 if people wanted it? Yes, it's now available on Steam. You can actually buy it on Steam and play it. That would be awesome. No, I haven't seen anything for WWE 2K26. I have no interest. It's pro wrestling. I don't give a shit. That is correct. C-Note says, enjoying a game does not entitle you to getting money for it. You're right. But let's take this into perspective. I'm a live streamer. I'm an entertainer. In general, one of the rule of thumb that you can follow as a streamer, look out for the zombie. Hail Ye just sent a zombie my way. I got to dodge him. One of the things you have to follow as a rule of thumb as a streamer is, in general, if you're having a good time and you're passionate about what you're doing and that's coming through on the stream, people will likely enjoy the stream better and will support it. But you're right, that's not always the case. Case in point, JRPGs. I could tell you right now, 100%, JRPGs, that's not the case. Even though I'm passionate about them, I love them, I have a great time playing them, they don't really resonate with my audience so much, and it's very hard to get a dedicated audience that will engage and support with JRPGs, and that's frustrating. But in general, you will get better engagement and support for something that you enjoy than something you don't. If you're forcing yourself to play something you don't like just for a paycheck, it's probably not going to do as good as something that you're genuinely enjoying. But that's a rule of thumb. It's not necessarily a golden rule that 100% is true in all cases. So thank you to Hail Ye for the another $1 super chat here. It says, would you play Truck Sim India? I don't know. Is there a Truck Sim India? I have nothing against driving through India. I don't know why I would. Let's see here. Latenko says, are there any game genres you would consider yourself genuinely bad at? I know you were into competitive fighting games. I assume you're good at those. Definitely driving racing. I barely do anything with driving and racing. So it's rare if I would play one and not suck ass. Like, I'm going to play Forza Horizon. I'm probably going to be terrible at it. Okay. In general, most puzzle games, I don't play puzzles that often. Strategy style games like top-down strategy and shit like that, I don't usually play that. Even like Sims, although it depends on the style of Sim, I guess you could say. Well, gee, what else? Oh, stealth titles. Oh, no. Most of the time with stealth games, I suck. It depends on the game because I've actually been decent at certain Hitmans, and actually I was good at Metal Gear Solid 5. But for the most part, stealth games, I just don't have patience for them. So I end up just blowing it. You know what I mean? I would definitely say that. What do I think of Resident Evil 6? I thought Resident Evil 6 was an outstanding action game. It had a huge budget, you could tell, because the graphics were absolutely outstanding. The gameplay was smooth, fluid, and entertaining. The co-op aspect of playing with someone else was great. The fact that it was 3 completely separate campaigns starring 6 different main characters was amazing. The plots were interesting because they tied all the Resident Evil plots from other games together into one at that time. It was a really well done game. It just wasn't a good Resident Evil game. It was probably one of the worst ever because it had no elements of horror. Like, the only time in the game there was any horror was the very beginning, the first stage with Leon when he goes to that, was it a school? And all of a sudden all the kids turned into zombies and you had to like fight. Remember that? Like, that was the only scary part of the game whatsoever. Everything else was just blow everything apart like an action hero. And that's not scary. So it became more about body horror. Like, oh, look, the enemy at the end is a giant mutated T-Rex made of bodies. Like, what the fuck is that, right? But that's not horror like Resident Evil is known for. So that's why I think it did so poorly as a Resident Evil game. I still think it's a good game. I would love to replay it someday. People Person says, I can't remember. Did you play the original Pokemon games growing up? You should keep them as an option. They're some of the most important games in gaming history. I played Pokemon Blue. I had a Game Boy Pocket. I had Pokemon. It was blue. And then I had Pokemon Blue. So I played Pokemon Blue on a blue Game Boy. And then when I finished it, I never played anything else again on Game Boy. Seriously, like, that was the only thing I had a Game Boy for. And then I didn't play Pokemon again until I became a YouTuber. So that was what, like a almost 20-year break, probably, from Pokemon. Seriously. Okay, maybe not 20, probably like 10 to 15-year break. Oh, let's see here. Abdullah says, do you think it's impressive Capcom's making a port of Requiem on the Switch 2? I don't care. I'm never going to play it on the Switch 2. It's not a game made for Switch 2, so I don't really care, to be honest. Would I be the Xbox CEO if they asked me to? See, here's the thing. Again, I said this before. You put me in a position of power at any of these companies, I will actually do right by gamers. But the problem is that's not what these companies operate for anymore. They operate for shareholders. So if you made me the CEO of Xbox Gaming right now, immediately we'd have a new initiative pushed forward to revive Halo, Gears of War, and other franchises that were first parties, that were big. I want them back, and I want them back in a big way, and we're going to put all our resources into pushing them and making them great. Because we need to have games people want to play on the Xbox, right? Then I would have new initiatives for the Xbox to make it a prominent console again. Yeah, I would bring back all the things that gamers want that have gone by the wayside. I would immediately say you could take that cloud gaming and you could flush it down a fucking toilet because no one cares about cloud gaming in the gaming landscape. That's a greedy tactic to try to take the ownership of the games away from the actual gamers and instead put it in the hands of corporations that want to rent your time rather than you owning the games and the consoles. Fuck cloud gaming. Instead, let's make this console good again. Let's make good games again. So I would say that, and all the gamers would rejoice. And they'd be like, holy shit, here's a guy who's a real gamer who gets it, and he wants to do things. Let's spend our money on him. And the shareholders would say, let's vote to get this guy out of power immediately. Because the shareholders are greedy fucks, and all they want is dividends for their pockets. That's all they care about. So, by any means necessary. They want cloud gaming because they want to milk you for money. They don't care about the future of gaming and its cultural relevance or if the games are any good. They just want profits. So that's who's in charge of a company like Xbox, and that's why you're seeing the decisions you're seeing. Because they're not doing it for the sake of the gamers, the sake of the quality of the culture of anything. All they want is money. Okay. Aaron Nero, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that, Aaron. Good to see you. Let's get you on the leaderboard. First member of the day. Mara Cover says, do you think the new Resident Evil is going to perform poorly on consoles compared to PC? Now, when you say perform, that's an interesting question, because there could mean two things. It could mean actual game performance with the graphics and frame rate, or it could mean sales, okay? When you're talking graphical performance, it should perform better on PC. Should. That doesn't mean it will. It should. But we've seen botched PC launches before, where a game that by all means should be better on a console, should be better on PC, runs like shit on the PC and actually is better on console because the console has one set hardware configuration. So the game developer basically tweaked the game to work on it, and then it won't work properly on PC. I hope it works great on PC because I'm playing it on PC. Like, the only reason that I would play Resident Evil Requiem on PS5 Pro is if the thing's so busted on PC we can't make progress and it's horrible. So if that does happen and it ends up being atrociously bad, then I guess we'll swap over. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Okay? I guess we'll have to see. Latenko says, unrelated to any topic, I used to hate the name of the podcast until I learned how it came about. Good on you for turning something negative into a positive. Well, thank you, Latenko. Most people probably know the story of the podcast, but in a nutshell. So there's another creator on the internet. His name is Keemstar, and he really wanted me in his content, and he kept trying to say stuff about me to try to get me to be on part of his shows, and I kept telling him, no, I don't want to be that kind of content. I consider this lolcow stuff very toxic and negative, and I just don't want to be associated with it. So he went on a tirade insulting me and doing stuff, and one of the things that he said was that I'll always be on level 1. I'm stuck on level 1, and I'll never get past level 1 because I'm just a nobody and a loser, and I don't want to be a part of something bigger and stuff like that. Okay? So I said, oh, level 1, huh? And I immediately renamed the name of my show from the Pre-Stream Podcast to the Level 1 Podcast. And what I wanted to show is that a lot of people can be happy where they are. They're not aspiring to blow up by any means necessary. Like, sure, if I had joined that show, that lolcow show with Keemstar, I can tell you right now, I'd have more people following me on a daily basis. I'd probably have overall more subscribers and more viewers, but I'd also be a toxic individual who's all about money and pranks and stunts and embarrassing himself in order to make a buck, rather than someone who actually makes meaningful, positive content with an audience that actually likes him. And I don't want to throw that away because I have that. I'm successful doing it. And I don't want to say just because I'll blow up, I'm now going to change myself to be a toxic, negative dude. All right? So I'll stay on level 1 and I'll prove that you can be successful being on level 1. And what's happened is in the last few years, I've actually done much better for myself. You know, the means that I have for myself here has improved greatly. So many people come by, hang out, support, and love the content because it's positive content. And people have asked me over the last couple of years, would you change the name of your show? Because quite frankly, you're not on level 1 anymore. You've surpassed all those people who you were kind of categorized with, and you're doing stuff your own way and you're successful at it. So why would you still be on level 1? And I was like, well, I guess we could rename it, but what would we call it? Right? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Pokemon Enthusiastic did a $5 super chat saying, you did a giant stop watching Keemstar stream when he said he would retire. So he fired back and said you're on level 1. Yeah, he publicly was insulting me. Oh, God. Someone's really upset about this topic, and they're sending a deadly zombie after me. Good Lord. Look at those beautiful choppers, though. That guy's some nice dental work. Anyway. He wanted me in his content. I said no. And then we basically had a feud online. That's what happened. And then eventually he said I was stuck on level 1. And that's how the podcast came to be. I mean, we could argue semantics of the actual back and forth, but that's in general what happened. It's called summarizing instead of being ultra specific. You like to be ultra specific probably because you're a hyper-focused individual, if you know what I'm saying. So thanks, Pokemon Enthusiast, for $5. And then we have Aaron, who did a $10 super chat. Stopping by to show some support. Hope to see you play more indie games. Indeed, there will be some fun indies this week. Tomorrow, on the late stream, we're doing an indies exploration night where we're going to try out a variety of indies, at least 2, if not 3. We'll go there and see, how that goes. And then we're going to do it again, I think, Thursday? Yeah, because we're doing RimWorld tonight and Tuesday. No, okay. So here's the schedule. Today, it's Hollow Knight and RimWorld. Tomorrow, it's Dragon Quest and Indies Night. Tuesday, Hollow Knight and RimWorld. Wednesday, Dragon Quest Indies Night. Thursday, Marathon, Beta, and Street Fighter 6. Friday, Resident Evil Requiem all day. That's the schedule for the week. Yeah, I said it, so now I don't confuse myself. Okay. People Person says, what's funny is in addition to what mode you play for the new Resident Evil, like the difficulty level, you also have to select a camera. Developers say FPS first run. I feel like the girl, I forgot her name already. The girl should be played in first person and Leon should be played in third person. Because traditionally, the modern Resident Evils, which the girl represents, have been first person, but the classics are third. So that's probably what I'll do. We'll swap between cameras depending on who we're controlling. Grace is her name? Okay, I keep forgetting her name. Grace. Okay. What about trying Tokyo Scramble? So we watched the trailer for Tokyo Scramble 2 or 3 weeks ago. At first it was intriguing until they started playing like J-pop music and the girl started fantasizing about being like a pop star in the middle of a dinosaur apocalypse, and I was like, what the fuck is this? There was a raptor running on an escalator and she's laughing at it because it's stuck on there like it's on a treadmill. I was like, yes, because if you were about to be killed by bloodthirsty dinosaurs that somehow resurrected in the modern day, you'd be laughing about them running on an escalator, right? You wouldn't be like completely terrified, freaking out. So basically, it's not a serious horror game. And when I saw that, I was like, I don't really care for this game. Okay, so Mara Cover says, I meant performance, meaning FPS drops are a massive deal breaker for me. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you would think, again, Resident Evil Requiem should run beautifully on anyone's PC, but it might not. You have that kind of chance that sadly it might not, right? It might be crappy. You don't know. So we'll have to see. But fingers crossed, it'll run beautifully on PC. I'm playing Crimson Desert in March for sure. I am very intrigued by this game and I want to know if it's any good. It's so good that it sounds too good to be true. I guess we'll find out when it comes out, but I'm definitely checking it out. Will I play Romeo as a dead man when there's downtime? It doesn't look interesting to me. Again, like I've said, that Suda 51 style of game, that's a game that when I was young, early on in my run as a YouTuber, it had the kind of humor that was very irreverent, very immature, and that was my kind of humor because I was trying to appeal to a teen audience. So I would make the sexual comment, I would make the racial comment, I would make the duty joke, right? And people liked that. It was, oh, it's funny because Phil's appealing to teens. I'm 43, about to be 44. That's not the content people want from me anymore. It's not the content I want to make. So why play a game that's what the game is? You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's going to be very entertaining, nor did I see anything that stood out that made me want to play it, so that's why I skipped it. Aaron says, would you play Obey the Voice? I don't know what that is. Is that new? Obey the Voice? Let's see. Obey the Voice. Came out end of January. You are here to listen to the voice, do what he says, but don't listen to other voices. This looks interesting. It's a horror game, for sure. Wow, it actually looks really creepy. All right, I'm adding that to wishlist. That might be a good one. Obey the Voice actually looks really creepy of a horror game. There's mutations and monsters and a really creepy storyline. That looks good. All right, I added that to the wish list. That was a good suggestion. Very nice. Okay, thank you for that. Would I ever stream behind a hypothetical $1 paywall? What do you mean, Rebel Yeller? $1 paywall? What does that mean? Are you saying like I would actually force people to pay $1 to see the stream? How would you even do that? The only thing you can think of is like there's a members only stream. But that's easily bypassable, so that would be a no-go. I'm not aware that there's even a way to do that. TX Shooter said, did I like the Nemesis in Resident Evil 3 Remake? Resident Evil 3 Remake was just okay. Because Resident Evil 2 Remake was like a best-in-class example of how to remake a horror game. It did everything right. And then Resident Evil 3 Remake was just eh. Because first of all, original Resident Evil 3 is also just eh to me. Like, I don't really like it. I think it's a far inferior game, and it was a rushed game. It actually wasn't supposed to be Resident Evil 3 to begin with, and then it just kind of got rushed through production and thrown out there to make cheap money before they moved on with the franchise. So then when they remade it, it doesn't have nearly as much content as Resident Evil 2 Remake did. So I just didn't really like it. I thought it was okay, but it was way too short, if you remember. So did I like Nemesis? There's not much I liked about the game at all, honestly. I just don't think it was a very good game. I also didn't like how they keep redesigning Resident Evil characters to look like actual actresses and celebrities. Like, for example, they made Claire Redfield look like what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. And then they made Jill Valentine look like Mila Jovovich. Like, take a look at their character models. 100% that's who they're basing them off of. It's surprising no one's called it out in the industry. Like, that's exactly what they did. They tried to make their characters look like real actresses. Like, why did you do that for? Like, you already have a look to them that everyone knows. Why would you change it? I don't know. When am I going to order the new pad for the Switch 2? Eventually, we're going to get to it, Kimikaze. I don't know. We have to get to it before the marathon on March 6th, right? But it seems like we keep running out of time. Probably we'll have to order it over this week, maybe by the end of the week, to get it in time for the marathon. I know. Time is of the essence, but we always get caught up with other stuff. Okay. All right, guys. Anything else that we want to talk about before we adjourn with the show? And then we, take our little break and then we jump into Hollow Knight for today. I'm excited for Hollow Knight today. We're at a point now in the game where I think we're going to be able to I think we have to finish the area we're in, and we can go back to other areas, like, for example, that Crystal Mines area. We never finished it. We can go back and finish that. I think there's various things that we could do that'll be pretty fun. Grace looks a lot like Rose from the Resident Evil 8 DLC. Do you have thoughts? I don't think it's the same character. I hope it's not. But I don't know, because we didn't play the game, so I actually don't know Grace's backstory. So I don't know yet. What's going on, Big Mac? How are you today? Do I think Poketopia will sell well and get Nintendo to open up Pokemon to more genres? Probably. I think it'll sell well. I don't know if it'll open up Pokemon to more genres, but I do believe it will sell well. Really, the Soma team has a new game coming out? Is that true? Ontos? Is it on Steam? I really liked Soma. To be honest, I like Soma more than I like the Amnesia series. Here it is, Ontos. A sci-fi mystery set in the repurposed Moon Hotel Samsara. Uncover cryptic experiments, face unsettling encounters, and piece together a mind-bending narrative. The deeper you go, the more the truth unveils to confront the ultimate question, what is reality? All right, add to the wish list. Sounds good to me. I liked Soma so much more than I liked Amnesia. To me, Amnesia's all right. Like, some Amnesias are much better than others. But Soma is that rare game where it made you think about real life stuff in an interesting way. Like, when you're playing Soma, you actually start thinking about life, the soul, the afterlife, if there is one, the meaning of life, what is real, you start thinking about this big shit, this big picture shit, philosophical shit. Like, wait a minute, I'm playing a video game. How did that happen? Right? I don't know, but it did. It sure did. By the end of the game, everyone was thinking that I remember on that stream, we were all like mind fucked. We were like, holy shit, what a game, right? So something like that, I like way more than just a game where, it's gory horror and survive. That's okay. But give me something to think about more psychological horror and actually thinking about real life stuff. That to me resonates, What about Penumbra, which was the predecessor to Amnesia? I've never played Penumbra, so I don't know about that one. Garrett says, I would like to see you at some point play the other Poppy Playtime chapters because Chapter 5 just released. And listen, again, I played Poppy's Playtime Chapter 1, what was it, during the Halloween Marathon. I liked it. I said I would play more, but sadly it hasn't really gotten a lot of, demand or attention on my stream for me to play it. So we haven't. I would definitely play the rest. The moldy carpets, and you know that the mic stinks. The microphone that I've had for 1 year that I clean regularly, that I don't spit on. No. Moldy carpets. You mean the carpet that I fully cleaned and, vacuum regularly. And there's nothing in this room that's moldy at all. Dusty, sure, because when you have a bunch of equipment in a room, it gets dusty. But not moldy. Moldy is disgusting. Listen, I am too much of a clean person to ever let stuff get that bad. That's like, I can't stand that shit. That's gross, you know? Thanks for crashing out. Okay, you're welcome. If that was a crash out, that was probably the calmest crash out ever performed, but good for you. The truth is, when anyone says, oh, I'm trying to bait you into a response, and you just give them a calm response, and they're like, oh, you crashed out. It's like, if you say so. I mean, I think it says more about you than me. You said something, I reacted to it in a rational fashion, and you act like it's some big life event. You're a loser who's just trying to get just kind of any response out of someone on the internet because you can't get human interaction otherwise, because no one will give you the time of day outside of your computer. You know, like when you walk outside your room, you're probably one of these non-existent people that no one ever acknowledges or interacts with because no one cares about you. So I got a streamer to react to my comment. What a crash out. If you say so. If that's really what you want to believe, you know, I can't help you in that regard if you're that much of a life loser. Spoilers, Latenko, you're afraid about getting spoiled about Hollow Knight. Dang, the game is 9 years old. That's I'm shocked you haven't been spoiled yet. Then again, I say that I've never played it, so you know, I guess I feel you. It's a great game. Definitely, if you're gonna play it for yourself, don't spoil yourself on a stream. Yeah, I've been a PC gamer now for a year and a half. I got my gaming PC in the summer of 2024, and I play everything on there, almost everything. You know, Switch stuff. Obviously, you got to play on a Switch console, and rarely there's been a PlayStation game that I have to play on PS5 Pro. But 99% of stuff is all PC now. What's funny is, so it would have been cool at the end of 2025 to do a year in review fully, but I couldn't because Xbox cheaped out because they're doing so poorly. They didn't even do a year in review. Like, there was no way for you to even see what games you'd played that were Xbox games through the Xbox app. They didn't even bother to do it. That was too much work, and they felt it would be too much cost associated with it. I mean, that's pathetic. Everyone else did it. Literally every service did it but Xbox. They refused to do it. And the thing is, I played a lot of stuff on Game Pass in 2025, so it would have been neat to compare what I played, how much I played. They didn't even do it. So lame. Garrett says, could we see you at some point play the first Luigi's Mansion? Well, that is on the Nintendo's online service, Nintendo Switch Online, that I have the expansion pack for a year, and it's on there. So yeah, I could eventually play Luigi's Mansion 1 if you guys were interested. It was a GameCube game, right? Yeah, that's true. People Person says PS5 Pro is pretty premium at this point. It actually has gone up in price since it came out. Even though you don't use it much, it'll probably come in handy when you play GTA 6. Yeah, because remember, GTA 6, from all reports, is likely going to be a Sony exclusive at launch, which is shocking to think because of the way the market is going. But it might actually be a Sony console exclusive, in which case you need a PS5 or PS5 Pro to play it. And yeah, I'm glad that I have the PS5 Pro, despite the fact that it just gathers dust down there. At least I have it. GTA 6 is a myth. It will never release. Yeah, that basically, it's so weird because when you said, think about it this way. Back when GTA 5 came out, even that wasn't an exclusive. It was on both Xbox and on PlayStation at that time. Simultaneous release, Xbox 360, PS3, right? And then it got ported again, and it was on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, right? And then it took a long time, then it hit PC. So it will eventually be on PC, make no mistake. But what they like to do is they like to sell the game 10 times. So at first they want you to absolutely buy the PlayStation version. Then maybe they'll port it to PC and Xbox at the same time. Or maybe they'll even do that differently. They'll do Xbox first, then PC, or PC first, then Xbox. Who knows, right? Because they want to sell this 3-4 times. That's their model. So they're definitely going to do that. 100% they're going to be doing PlayStation exclusive first, and then they'll trickle it out on other platforms after. Toasty, I'm glad you're enjoying Dragon Quest 11 as a playthrough. I loved that game. I really did. Is that true? I thought GTA 6 was only PS5 Pro. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was going to be PS5 first, but maybe it will come out PS5 and Xbox at the same time. See, here's the thing. If it comes out on Xbox, it should be PC too. It's the same architecture and everything, right? It's the same shit. That's why you're seeing the cross-play and the cross-releases of Xbox and PC, because they're pretty much the same thing. So that's why I was thinking it'll be PlayStation first, then maybe Xbox PC co-release, and that, you know what I mean? But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'll be playing it. If it's not on PC, I'll be on PS5 Pro. That's for sure. Of course, I'm looking forward to Hollow Knight today. Faded Shadow, thank you. He says, hope you had a great Saturday. I did. The reason we didn't talk about it today, it was just a relaxing day with my wife. Nothing notable to really talk about. You know, I went grocery shopping. We did some stuff around the house. She actually played a game for the first time in ages. There was an update to one of her sim games from last year, and I watched her play it for a couple of hours, so that was nice and relaxing. We played with Jasper Kitty a lot. Just you know, regular kind of stay-at-home relaxing stuff. Nothing too crazy. Nothing major to really talk about today. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's it. Have we covered everything? I think so. It's been a good show. Sorry we didn't get to the Phil Spencer stuff. Let's save that and do it as a topic on the next podcast in a couple of days, probably. Makes sense to do so, I think. That's right. So for those interested, tomorrow, DSP Tries It returns. Finally, we're coming back to normal kind of fast foody stuff. We're going to do Wendy's, chicken tenders, and all of the different dipping sauces that they do now, that they just added. So I'll probably get something else with it, too. I'll probably order like a 4-piece tenders with the sauces, and maybe I'll get like a combo of like a burger or something. Because I haven't had a burger at Wendy's in a long time either. Probably just see what they got. So it'll be a good DSP Tries It to get back into the swing of things regularly. We'll have to see what we want to do moving forward after that. I know one thing that people have said, Papa John's has their pan pizza now, and they have a new dessert. So maybe I could get a pan pizza and the dessert and test bowl as like a co-testing. Maybe we'll do that next. We'll see. All right. Are we good? Did we cover all the topics? I think we're good. And thank you. Whoa. Well, Nocturne, thanks for $10. He says, man, I wish I got to tune into your deadlock. Ah! Nocturne, thanks for a $10 super chat. He says, I wish I got to tune into your deadlock stream. But we'll give it another go. The game has so much potential. You got to give your sensitivity honed in. Thank you, Nocturne, for that. And thank you, Aaron, for $10. So, thank you, Nocturne, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. I'll be honest, Nocturne, I love Deadlock. I really like the game. I suck at it because I was learning it. I didn't really understand its mechanics yet, but I really liked it. But overall, the audience didn't really dig it as much. Like, basically, people complained they wanted to see me be good at it. I'm like, how can I be good at it if I don't play it and learn it first? Like, that doesn't even make sense, right? That's like saying we want you to jump into Call of Duty for the first time you've ever played it and be topping the leaderboards. How would you do that? You're just learning. But that's how people were. People didn't like the fact that I didn't interact with them when I played because I had to play the game. And people didn't like the fact that the gameplay was bad because I didn't know what I was doing yet. And because of those two factors, the stream didn't do that well. Like, we didn't even make $100. It was the slowest stream I had done in ages. It did worse than Dragon Quest. Okay? So I was like, I don't know what to say. You know, I want to play the game, but I can't continuously play it just to have everyone complain they didn't like it. You know, I got to find things people like and will show up for. So, it is what it is. I don't think I'm playing it again, sadly. Like I said that night, okay? I understand that not everyone can attend every stream. And that's fine. Some people can't even ever make a night stream, right? And I said, as people watch the gameplay, if then they would come to me, let's say the next day or two, and they were like, hey, Phil, we really liked you playing Deadlock. We want you to play more. Sorry we couldn't be there for the stream, but hey, here's support for the game. But like you just did. You did $10 super chat, right? That if people did that, and basically I was like, oh, there's like a bunch of people who want it, then I would have said, okay, let's play it again. You're literally the only person who's done so, and it's 2 days later. Actually, it's 3 days later. So it took 3 days for one person to actually come by and say, hey, I liked Deadlock. Here's a contribution for it. So sadly, I don't think I have that audience anymore. I think at one point I did, but my audience now is more of a chill vibe audience. They want to relax with me while I play a game and we interact and we talk a lot. They don't really care about the high multiplayer stuff. Only like the tried and true games like Street Fighter or Call of Duty will ever really do numbers for me. in that regard again, I think. Like, I think people are, like, getting used to me being a more chill guy. And because of that, they want to have indie games. They want to have chill experiences, right? Interactive experiences. And I can't do that when I'm playing a game where I have to focus on it the entire time. And I'm learning it from the ground up. And it takes a lot of investment of effort. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the impression I'm getting these days is things have changed. And that's fine. I just have to adapt to that, and I have to accept that rather than keep my head against the wall. You know what I mean? Like, I just tried it with Call of Duty. That didn't work. Now I tried it with Deadlock. That didn't work. So there's a pattern for me. Aaron, this is the $10 super chat, and asks the following question. Why are the trolls against you getting paid? Who wants to work for free? Well, here's the thing, Aaron. There's an answer that applies to why people started trolling me on the internet, and there's the answer that applies to today. The answer about, yes, someone just died. This is funeral home music. This is actually considered the organ low hymn music. I have horror-themed music today. There's a dark playlist for my music here from Roland's Bridgecast music library, and this is the dark playlist. I've never used it before, but I wanted to use it today because of zombies and stuff. So now we're hearing, like, funeral home organ music and all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay, so to answer Aaron's question, the original reason that I got detractors was because I was an asshole. 100%. I was someone who thought his shit didn't stink, his content was better than everyone else's, that I didn't need to listen to feedback ever, that all I needed to do was keep doing what I was doing and should be successful forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything I did was kind of, like, offensive. If someone tried to criticize me, I'd get pissed. This is how you don't play. Instead of laughing at it, I got pissed. That's on me. 100%. That's on me. Okay? But over time, things changed. I became a different kind of person, a different kind of creator, a different kind of streamer. You know, I made decisions that 100% backed the things that I said about content creation that I felt. You shouldn't be toxic. You shouldn't be offensive. You shouldn't be making yourself a clown. You shouldn't have to make others clowns. That you should just try to do something that's positive for the earth. Like my firm belief is one day I'm going to be done with content creation and I'll be able to leave behind a body of work that's eternal. Meaning you can watch a playthrough that I did 10 years ago, yesterday, and it's still good no matter what. You can still watch it and enjoy it. It doesn't hurt anyone. It didn't bring anyone down. I didn't make my living based on crunching others under my boots, but instead just having fun with an audience. You see? Like, that's what I stand for today. So if you compare the Phil of today to the Phil of 10, 15 years ago, there's a big difference in philosophy and content. I'll agree that the content that I was making... Oh! We have a shambling zombie, our first sub of the week from Lance Catamaran. So yes, I changed the sub notifications as well, as you can see. Thank you, Lance Catamaran, for the shambling zombie, sending it my way. Okay, so I basically feel like back in the day, my detractors were critics. And what they would do is look at my content and say, Phil can improve by doing this better. Phil can improve by changing his attitude here. Phil could be a better person here. He could be more grateful here. He could stop swearing at the games and saying racial comments and sexual comments here. And he could do this better. And I, over time, listened to all of that. And I changed myself for the better. If you look at me today, I'm so polarizingly different than how I used to be. Okay? Today, the reason that people have issue with me is because they want to make money or because they're jealous. Those are the two reasons. Either they want to make money by still saying I'm the worst person ever because they can monetize that and there is a hate-based cult on the internet used to hearing it, or they're just jealous of my success and they don't want to believe that someone can just be here and be themselves and actually make content and, you know, oh no, because that goes against what we believe. We believe that you have to be toxic and drama-filled and negative, and we don't want to believe that someone nice and positive like Phil could make content and be successful. So they don't want me to make money. They want me to fail because they feel like that's some kind of a win for them because they're jealous of my success. It's that simple. And it's not everyone. Like I said, there's a distinct group of people that want to see me fail so they can make content on it and make money. I don't really believe at all whatsoever that there is a single person who watches me and actually thinks that Phil is someone who needs to improve his content and here's constructive criticism how. I don't believe that anymore. because it used to be, and I changed for the better, and it's never good enough. No matter what I do to change, what I do to improve, they move the goalpost again because they can't have a narrative that says Phil isn't bad anymore. Their narrative is Phil is bad, so they have something to talk about, a group of hate watchers to be socially active with on the internet, and that they can make money on. There you go. Oh, let's see here. We've got... Okay. I got confused there. I did the wrong thing. There was the... Okay, the first sub of the week is from Lance Catamaran. Thank you, Lance. Thank you for that. So, yes, all subs on Kick also have the new animations. We no longer have the Valentine's or football animations. They have all been removed. Okay? Those are played out. Those are from a few weeks ago anyway. That's why I'm going to do my best to update the animations more often so they're not outdated. Okay? I think that's going to be something nice and fresh for the streams. Aaron did another $5 super chat. He says, so they're against you growing as a person. How do you learn if you don't make mistakes? No, that they don't want anything positive out of me whatsoever. Seriously, if anything positive ever comes out of my content, they ignore it. They only focus on the negative because that is what's monetizable. On YouTube, people care more about the story of the guy who fell from grace rather than the person who came from nowhere and became successful. That's how YouTube works. People want drama, toxicity, negativity. They want you feel better about yourself when you hear that someone else failed because it makes you think, oh, well, I didn't fail, so I'm good. Now, you may be a nobody who never was, but at least you didn't fall from grace, right? So it makes you get a little bit of boost about yourself. You feel, oh, that person failed. I feel good. Those are the stories people like on YouTube. Those are the stories that get the big views. When I make a negative video about a game, it makes way more views and money than a video that's positive. If I make a video that says this is the worst game I've ever played, it'll get tons of views. If I make a game that says it's the best game I've ever played, it won't get views. That's just how YouTube is. So ignore any positivity whatsoever. Never give credit where credit is due, right? I couldn't tell you how many times in the last 5 years that meme that says the worst person you know made a good point. You know that meme? And even the face, remember the face of the guy that they use for it? Literally 10 times a year, I see that about me on social media. I see that about me in comments on videos. I see that about me everywhere. It's like, wait a minute. At one point, it's not the worst guy you made a good point. How could I be the worst guy you know if I'm constantly making good points? Then I'm not the worst guy anymore. It's the guy who doesn't make good points and does bad things that's the worst guy. But it's the meme that I'm the worst guy. So to them, any positivity cannot, it's got to be the rare, that never happens for Phil. Rare Phil W. No, it's not rare anymore. Phil's always getting W's. It's just that people don't want to acknowledge the W's anymore. Because they want to say, well, Phil sucks. Let's make bad content about him and make money on it. And they can't do that if I'm actually not a bad person. You see? I hope that makes sense, Aaron. It's only the best way I can describe it. Like, I'm someone who I acknowledge I was bad back in the day. I was so big-headed. I thought my shit didn't stink. I thought my content was the best. I didn't want to listen to criticism. I didn't want to listen to suggestions for improvement. I was mad at anyone who made fun of me. I was a dick. I was a conceited dick. That's the best way to describe the old Phil. I have done as much as I humanly possibly can to change from that person into someone who has learned, who is self-aware, who wants to make better content, who wants to be better, and I am successful doing it that way. But the internet doesn't want to acknowledge it. The facts are here. Like, literally on this stream, I haven't said a word about, hey, send me contributions, and look how much I've already made. I didn't even do anything. All I did was talk with you guys during a podcast. You can't deny that I'm successful. But the internet doesn't want to admit that, because that means that their narrative's broken, right? Oh, Phil's not a bad person. He makes good content, and people support it. No, that doesn't happen. Phil's a broke, and he's a beggar, and he's this, and he's that. That's all not true. But that's the narrative they have to push. Okay. I believe it is time to end the show, my friend. So this was a good show. We didn't talk about Phil Spencer. We didn't look for a controller. Those are things to do on future podcasts this week. I think this week there's going to be a podcast on, let's think about this. There's definitely going to be a podcast on Wednesday because I think I want to have 2 days of a morning show. And then I want to do on Wednesday, and then we might do another podcast on Thursday. And the reason I say that is because basically the way I'm thinking is I want to not do a podcast Friday so we have maximum time to play Resident Evil. Okay? At the same time, we also have the marathon beta. So you know what? Maybe we should only do one more podcast this week. Maybe we should do the podcast on Wednesday. Let's do that. So let's have the DSP morning show for the next 2 days. Then let's do a podcast on Wednesday. And the podcast on Wednesday will cover the Phil Spencer topic as well as any other gaming news. And then Thursday, Friday, we'll do quick morning shows so we can get into Marathon and we can get into Resident Evil. Yeah. So there'll be very few official podcasts this week, and the morning shows only last around an hour. They'll be much shorter than this show. We'll have more gameplay in general this week. Okay? I'm sure no one will complain that in general we're going to do more overall gameplay this week. All right? Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching the Level 1 podcast for today. We got a great week ahead of us. Continuing awesome playthroughs, new games, spooky vibes, and good fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that you guys are too. And thank you so very much for a great show. It will return on Wednesday, but in the meantime, don't miss out on all the gameplay. Don't miss out on the DSP morning show coming up. It'll be fun. And one other thing, since you requested it, I guess I'll leave these streams archived. So you can watch them in their entirety, or you can just watch them broken into parts as well. Your choice. Thanks for watching. See you next time on the Level 1 podcast.